Hey guys, Brox here. I know in my build guide video I said I didn't have the time to actually try the build, but I decided against it and wanted to kind of prove that the concept would work. So I spun this guy up. We are playing on online hardcore solo account found Falconer. These are my current stats at level 47. We have pretty good resistances across the board. We're a little low on armor and we're okay on dodge. We have a 75% block chance, which is incredible. And then we have a 50% chance block effectiveness. We are currently running a 17% chance for glancing blow. This is about to get much better. My next couple passive points, which I'll show in a second, are going to not only increase this by a lot, but it'll also double it. So we should get up to about, I think it's going to be around like 50% glancing blow within the next couple passive points. Minion damage is okay. We have a couple increases to minion damage, but again, everything in this build is about stacking bleed chance. So we have 33% bleed chance without any of our buffs, like Crimson Shroud, Bloodthirst, and all those additional buffs. And then our bleed damage is 118 per tick, again before the Falcon kind of causes all that to do all its multiplicatives. So nothing too crazy so far, again at level 47. We're running around 600 health. 74. We just completed what would be considered the campaign to the point that you could start monoliths. We got all our idle slots open, and this is the current gear that I'm running. Just some yellows that have good resistances or something that I can use. These are not optimal at all. It's just what I could get my hands on. This one is attack speed, lightning res, shred armor, damage. The crit again is pointless, but I can't remove it right now. This chest is okay. I'm really just using it for the fire res. The two prefixes are absolutely terrible and useless. But I needed fire res. We were really low on fire res going into some of the dangerous fire areas. I'll get to the two uniques in a second. We're using these rings again for fire res, cold res. Really, all my prefixes are absolutely terrible right now. We're just literally trying to get reses up so that we can be safe as we're going through the hardcore maps. Again, this one's actually not too bad because it has increased minion damage, which is helping increase our bleed damage when the pet applies the bleed, when the Falcon applies the bleed. For the gloves, again, it's good that it has minion damage, but we're really using it for the resistance. Same here. I've had these boots for 20 something levels, 20 levels at this point, just because they're the best boots I've gotten so far, with +6 vit, and then fizz res, and then good movement speed. So I haven't found a better pair of boots in 20 levels. The relic is pretty good. It gives us shred armor on hit, and it also gives us a lot of damage over time and minion damage +2 resistances. So this will probably live here for quite a while until we get something substantially better than it. But the key here is I got a taste of blood. So I got this about maybe 5 levels ago, around level 42, 43. And then I also got Cradle of the Erased, which is a Weaver's Will item. And when this dropped, and this dropped first actually, and then the Taste of Blood dropped maybe like a level or two after it, and I immediately dropped the bow quiver combo. So I leveled with a bow and quiver up to about level 42. I highly recommend that if you're going to do the build guide, to do that, to use a bow and a quiver and stay at ranged, because it's incredibly dangerous to be in melee before you're ready. But as soon as I got the Taste of Blood, I was too excited to kind of jump in and see how it worked. But please understand, from the build perspective, we have absolutely no health regen right now from using Taste of Blood. That'll come when we get the unique relic and the proper helmet. So we don't have those two items yet. So we're not in Woven Flesh. So we don't have any of our healing items yet. We're just legitimately using this to see how the bleed damage looks, and I'm going to post a couple boss clips after this introduction of 3 of the most dangerous bosses in the campaign. The 2 Goatman boss, the icicle boss that splits into 5 icicles and shoots icicles at you, and then the tree stomping boss. So the tree thing, which unlocks the last idol slots, which is the last boss before you can actually go into monoliths with all your idols. I have clips from those 3 bosses, and you have to understand again, very timid because it's hardcore. So I'm not playing as optimal as I could because I didn't know how my survivability was in the clips, but the build is outperforming my expectations. Like, I thought it was going to be really, really, really good, and I don't even have the healing per second yet. It made all 3 of those most dangerous campaign bosses to me, besides getting to like Lagan and the final boss, which we will get to once we get a little better gear. But once we get to the Lagan and the final boss, I don't think this build's going to have an issue at all. But it made those 3 bosses look like a joke. The tree boss, which scared the living Jesus out of me because it's a melee build, so we have to get into the range with the stomp that it does, which can evaporate 600 HP. And it was nothing. It was like it was nothing once I got the feel for it. So yeah, the build is working fantastic so far. It's only going to get more crazy. Like, as soon as I get the other uniques that we need and start getting the healing per second going, I don't think I'm going to be killable unless it's something that I just don't expect or don't know about. There's a lot of new monsters in 1.0 that I've never seen before and have mechanics I don't know. So that's been fun to try to figure out what they did, especially when I started getting into melee range. So that's been a little bit dangerous, but the build is, again, outperforming expectations. So you're going to see in the clip that I'll give you, we are using the full combo. So everything on my bar is as it should be for the rest of the leveling process. So from 47 to 100. And again, I'm not playing it optimal yet. My muscle memory isn't set to perfect yet, but for most of the trash clearing, I'll even go to like a trash clearing area real quick. If I go here, actually, let's just go, maybe not there. Let's do this one. If I go to this area, I don't even have to use Falcon Strikes. This build's so strong. So I'm not even reliant on the main damage source yet. So like if I go to these guys and I just do this and this, and then I hit them a couple of times, I don't even need to use Falcon Strikes. Which is, again, the main damage source. So if I go over here and I drop this and I hit them a couple times, like, they're dead. We can go over here, we can drop some nets, and they're dead. And we can do this, and they're dead. And I don't even have to use Falcon Strikes, but if I wanted to, I mean, Falcon Strikes just literally evaporates whatever it is. Doesn't matter what kind of mob it is. Falcon Strikes will absolutely obliterate it. Taste of Blood makes all these bleed stacks just absolutely insane. It just gets rid of mobs. So look, boom, dead. And you can just keep going. Like, this trivialized the campaign so far, so I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble in monoliths. I know I've heard that they're a little bit more scary now because of the changes that they made. But this feels really tanky and really quick. And the cool part is you can just keep going. So a lot of this stuff has really short cooldowns, like the nets. Like, look at this. Like, my mana regen's really strong. I can just throw nets endlessly. Like, endless nets. There's something I did want to kind of learn more about, which is this node, because it says net. Now, if there's a trap that releases a net at a nearby enemy when it triggers, you can have a maximum of 6 nets active at once, and they last 30 seconds. That seems 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Okay, so yeah, okay, I get it now. So I'm working towards the node, this one that I just got. So this should hit, when it says net hits an enemy, you are now throw caltrops at the target location where the net hits. So this was what was confusing me, because I was throwing caltrops on me, but the nets were away from me, and I needed those caltrops to actually hit the mobs, and it wasn't doing that. So that was a little bit tricky. That should be fixed now. So if I go like this, yeah, so now caltrops are actually landing they should land at the place, and then look, it just evaporated. So even net just by itself is insane, which we knew. However, another question I had in the build that I needed to theory craft and test was if smoke bomb went on cooldown when I cast a net. It absolutely does. So when I use this, it actually does trigger the real smoke bomb and the smoke bomb skill tree. The way I know it's using the smoke bomb skill tree is because it's proccing the 2 stacks of silver shrouds, which you just saw there. So if I do it again, you'll see the 2 stacks of silver shrouds pop up. So it is using the tree. However, I do not, and this is really sad to me, I do not think it is actually using escape tactics. I think there's some weird interaction. I would love EHG to fix this, because I believe that if it's going to put the full skill on cooldown, it should trigger this ability, because it's not a traversal skill, it's actually an ability skill. I know there's probably some weird interaction again with the fact that net does a backflip and we are making it so that net doesn't cause a backflip, but I don't feel like this should be overriding a skill in a completely different tree, if it's putting the entire skill on cooldown. So I may withdraw this point, sadly, because I don't think it's doing anything. And this was a big factor because it gives us immunity, and we don't have immunity in this build. So I may need to look at some other sources of immunity. Potentially dropping aerial assault for shift, because shift does have an immunity in its skill tree. But I need to test further with that. So I'll take a look at that, and I'll probably report back if I make that change, because I rather have immunity somewhere in the build than not have the ability to become immune to damage. It's really powerful in last Epoch. Again, dodging things like Lagon's beam is going to be crucial. Getting out of like oh shit damage without being insta killed while you're moving is a big factor. So just wanted to give you kind of a quick insight on where I'm at, what I've learned so far at level 47. I'm probably going to start monoliths soon, or maybe push the campaign a little bit further and see if I can do up to. I like doing up to the tower boss, the feather boss that's in his tower, and see if I have any issues there. Just because I don't know if I really want to go into monos yet at level 47 when they're level 58 on a hardcore character, because I do really want to, not die. But yeah, so I'll keep testing when I have time. I'll put out some more videos, and then I'll add the clips in of the boss fights right after this. Enjoy. So this is the first of the 3 bosses. This is the 2 shaman bosses, the 2 goatmen. Here again, this is the first boss since I got the taste of blood and switched over to melee, so I was very timid with it being hardcore because these are very dangerous bosses, especially the falling snow. But I felt really comfortable after getting hit a couple times that I was very tanky, and more tanky than I was expecting, and the caster just melted. And then as soon as I get a little bit more confidence, I just decided to stand still and just face tank the melee guy, and his health just evaporates. As soon as and this is a context for all these bosses, as soon as I just stop and I start hitting them to get the taste of blood proc to speed up their bleed poisoning, they evaporate. So this is very much similar. I start off by just melting him very, very quickly, but then when he starts breaking out into the 5 different versions, I get really scared that, how many icicle shots can I take at once? I should have just stayed in because I don't think I would have died at all. And then I just back up and let Falcon Strikes finish him off, which just evaporated him for about 30% of his health. This boss is the most dangerous boss because of the stomp you're about ready to see right when he comes out of this freeze. He's going to stomp. That scared the bejesus out of me. I thought I was dead because that stomp can literally just evaporate you. But again, as I get my confidence, I just stand in, decide to just stand in and start hitting him. And around 40%, you're going to see his health just evaporate. And when that happens and I start building the stacks will get up to about 90, and then he just insta-pops when I hit him with the cleave. So right about here, so you see the stacks pop, and then boom, he's dead. So that's the build.